Now it's time for questions and answer. We are limited in time, but there are many, many questions coming in. So I'll try to give the questions to each of the speakers today, one by one, and we'll let you know in terms of time how this is going to go. So the first question actually is for Haetong S님. Just one second. There was a question for Haetong S님 directly. Want to ask to Haetong S님 from Shan Chao. For lay practitioner who has lots of things happening in life and work, the 6, 7, and 8 senses are always, or 6, 7, and 8 consciousness are always fighting, as you described. It's quite hard to keep a calm and just do it mind. Do you have any advice on how to better deal with it?
So first, just to put the idea about all these consciousness things down. Just take it away. You think about 6, 7, 8, 9 consciousness. That is not the way I was recommending. So first, to put all that idea about consciousness down, then the answer clearly appears. So I just a little throw the bait. I actually said I'm going to talk about a little bit intellectual talk. So thank you. Actually, you you just took it. But the bottom line of my this mentioning about this consciousness was a little just to help you understanding. But very, very, very important thing is like just at the moment, you just to become one. This is also a word, but what you are doing is just you. And you are the what you are doing. Washing dish, that's you. Or maybe you feel sad, like Zen Master Ponsang said, everything is Buddha nature. It's not about good thing, bad thing. Bad feeling, good feeling, everything is Buddha nature. Good job, bad job, everything is Buddha nature. You, me, monk, lay person are the Buddha nature. So that's the main point. And just by the way, do you think that's the only lay person's issue? You said in lay life there are a lot of this consciousness fighting things. Do you think in my monastic's mind has no fighting among all of them? Maybe even intense, even more intense maybe. But just I would like to just say, if you have this strength, just do it moment to moment. Then you don't even have a chance to think about my mind is this or that. There is one story about Zen Master Subong I heard. One will be very short. A student asked him. So his life is very busy. I think he or she was some dancer or ballerina. He has to do this, do that, do that. How can I do? I cannot do everything in a day. And the Subong Zen Master said, if you just do it, you can do everything. If that's a list of 100 of things, you can do everything. But even you have only 2 or 3 things in the list for a day, if you just think, how can I do? I understand, you cannot make even one job get it done. So here's the point. Just coming back this moment, becoming one, is the best solution. Of course, as Zen Master Ponsang said, only understanding doesn't help you. You have to do some practice. Then you get this strength to come back to this moment and become one with the situation. Then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consciousness doesn't really matter, don't really matter. So I hope this helped you.
Thank you, S님. Next question is actually for Zen Master Bon He. Before humans in the time of the dinosaurs, Did Bodhi exist? After humans are gone, when the earth has been engulfed by the sun, will Bodhi exist? In this sense, is Bodhi Buddhist?
Thank you for that wonderful question. I had seen it in the Q&A and was hoping I'd be asked it. What makes you think humans are so special? Our minds are so limited, and we think we're so special. Zen Master Sung San used to say, human beings, #1 bad animal. And we look around us and, yeah, you know what? That kind of looks like it's true. Look at what's happening with the climate. You look what people are doing with each other, to each other. Look at all the suffering in the world that humans cause other humans and that humans cause animals. So yeah, human beings are not special. Bodhi does not depend on human beings. I'm sure that in some far distant planet, far away, some beings that are made out of hydrogen gas or something are thinking like, oh, if there were no beings like us, what would happen to Bodhi? What would happen to our original nature, this wonderful Buddha nature, except they'd call it something else, right? Yeah, universal means universal, so don't make special. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next question is for Zen Master Bonsang. How do we see and embrace the Buddha nature in everyone, including the bad people who kill, lie, harm other beings?
Oh, thank you for that question. You ask a very tough question. You know, I was listening to Zen Master Banhe's answer, and she got to the point so well. But we don't know what good is and what bad is. We think if human beings disappear, that's very bad. That's very bad for human beings. But it may be very wonderful for the rest of the beings on the planet. This is a joke. Please take it as a joke. But one time I had this thought, a crazy thought. Maybe the whole purpose of human beings is to raise the climate temperature. So the next unfolding will happen. Maybe that's our job. We don't know our job. We don't know what's good and what's bad. Now, of course, bad people who are killing other people, stealing from people, we have to manage them. We have to work with them. In many ways, in my view, a person like that isn't inherently evil, but the circumstances in their life have created a kind of consciousness that believes it's the right thing to do. It's ignorance, but all of us are ignorant. Most of us aren't so bad, in quotes, but all of us make mistakes. All of us hurt other people. All of us take things that aren't ours. And then we have to learn from that. So probably given all this, I'd say the most important thing is to remember that you are no different than anyone else. When I work as a psychotherapist and also as a Zen teacher, every person who tells me their story touches something in me that I recognize. I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. It says in our morning bell chant, everything everywhere is equal. We give labels good, bad, right, and wrong. And in our conventional world, there is good, bad, right, and wrong. But if we get trapped in it, we lose that larger view that Zen Master Bunghe is pointing us toward.
Thank you, Zen Master Bonsang. Next, for Hei Tong Snim. We are usually taught when people are hungry, give them food. What do we do when we don't have food to give or we don't have what they seek?
First, see what you have. What you have at that moment. If you don't have food, then what do you have? Something else. Then give. So yeah, sometimes we cannot find what I have exactly matches someone's need. But that's also based on our maybe thinking. As we just kept talking about, everything is Buddha nature. So, which means actually, if you don't have something that you can exactly help for this need, then there's something else that which is also another Buddha nature. So it's not just about this materially matching thing. It's all about actually our intention. Then you may find, maybe you find that actually what you can share. For example, now the question a little reminds me of this kind of situation. For example, there are a lot of people are hungry actually on the other side of this world. And sometimes we think about why don't we actually do something rather than just sitting in the Zen hall as a meditational practice. Why don't we maybe offer some food to Africa, North Korea, whatever that people need materially. But physically we cannot do that. So I heard actually one time from our senior teachers, Zen Master Sung San used to be asked. I don't know, maybe Zen Master Ponsung and Pone can correct if this story is not really off the point. But I heard that when Zen Master Sung San just started teaching in the US in the 70s, some students asked him, why did you come to America? It's the richest country. Why didn't you go to Africa, to help people who are hungry there? A lot of people starving and dying. What's the real help, Then I heard Zen Sung San answered, mind hunger is actually bigger than or more serious than this food hunger, this physically hungry. So in America at that time, I don't know, maybe you can tell, our Zen masters can tell me, at that time, there were a lot of people who were hungry, this mind hunger, who had this mind hunger, and that is more important to feed because those people get the food, mind food, and can help even more this world. So when we say when hungry people come and then give food, but you don't have food, yeah, if you have food, that's great, you can give, but it's not just about food itself. So also there are something else actually you can share instead of the food. So I think we all can do that. Hope this is helpful.
Thank you, Sunim. Next question is for Zen Master Bonhei. I spent a lot of money to give donations and always working as a volunteer. But why I did not get any good results like get a good job, get a good wife, etc. from what I have done?
You already got results, and the results are that you helped other people. If you do something so that you can get something else, then you're not helping anybody. And you're certainly not helping yourself. And also you can't get a good wife and you can't get a good husband because wives and husbands are not things that you get. They're human beings that you live with and relate to. And a job, yeah, we say you get a job. A job is something you do. You get that letter or phone call that says you're hired, and then after that, it's what do you do? So this universe is like that. So asking for money or sex or fame or, you know, whatever it is that you think you want. That's not the point. What karma is not, I do something and I get something that's intrinsic, that's extrinsic, that's apart from what I just did. Karma is I do something and that something blossoms and something happens to me and to other people from that action. So that's very important. So don't try to get anything. Then even if you get something, it will be hollow and you'll always want more. Whatever action you do, that in itself is its own reward. So don't look anyplace else. Thank you.
Thank you, Zen Master Bonhe. That was very clear. Next is for Zen Master Bonsang. How would you define what is right and what is wrong? When what we do could affect others, our decision could be right in one perspective, but it could be wrong in the other perspective.
Correct. That is true. We don't understand right and wrong, and every different action creates results that we don't understand. So don't try too hard to understand, only help. If our motivation is to help this world, then do that. Evaluate afterward. Is this coming through okay? Can you hear me? Okay. In our teaching, it's very clear when we do kungans, first, cut off all thinking. Return to your don't know center. Then, boom, respond. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. We laugh in Kangan practice when we're often wrong. So then we laugh, ha, 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 ha. It's funny. Sometimes when we're wrong in our regular life, it's not so funny. But our whole life is a series of cause, action, result. Zen Master Bonhe just talked about karma. I remember so clearly Zen Master Sung San teaching us about karma. He said, first you have a match. This match is original cause. Then you have an action. You strike the match. With karma, you always have to have an action. And then you have fire. That's the result. Cause, action, result. This result becomes the next cause. So the cause is fire. If I light a candle, we have light and people can read and see. If I take this match and light this piece of paper, then I burn my house down. So this action is the critical point of karma. It's in this moment of action is just now. What are we going to do? Do it, and then learn from your experience. You know, where all the questions are asked, it's always the worst of things. We understand things by looking at extremes, but our lives are more in the middle. So maybe it's not that the world collapses from my action or the house burns down, but maybe I hurt somebody's feelings, or maybe I lost something important to me. So once the event is done, or actually while it's even happening, perceive what's happening. We gain wisdom through our lives. If we learn from our experience, we will get better at it. Keep trying. Zen Master Sung San said, try, try, try for 10,000 years nonstop. Be careful not to judge yourself too much on this moment. It's all food that we digest to help our bodhisattva direction.
Thank you. On the 10,000 years non-stop note. The next one is for actually Zen Master Bonhei, I believe, because it's about Pure Land. You had spoken about Pure Land, I believe. So some Zen students who also follow the Pure Land teaching suggest that in order to save all beings, we should aim at being reborn in the Pure Land first, and then we can better practice the Bodhisattva way. However, Zen Master Sung-san taught us we vow to practice the Bodhisattva way in this human world nonstop 500 years. What would you suggest, this human world or Pure Land first to save all beings?
So thank you for that question. What makes you think you have a choice? Just do your best. Moment by moment by moment by moment, do your best. And maybe you'll wake up in this lifetime, and maybe you'll go to the Pure Land, or maybe you'll get a cockroach body and you'll wake up as a cockroach. Why not? So just moment by moment, do your best. We have no choice. We think we have choices. We have no choice. Myung-hae Sunim, her death. She's driving, I forget if she was going to visit her mother or coming back from visiting her mother. And she's driving in a car. You know, she's the passenger and a friend is driving her. And they're driving behind a truck. And suddenly a car filled with 5 drunks, including the driver, slams into her in the back and their car is pushed into the truck. And if you saw a picture of the car afterwards, you had no idea. I had no idea. How did they get the bodies out of that car? That's how deeply it was damaged. It was just flattened completely. We have no choice. So given that we have no choice, your only choice is moment by moment, do your best. Don't worry about the Pure Land. Don't worry about which lifetime you'll wake up or in what kind of body you will wake up. Just do your best, moment by moment by moment. And your best is not anyone else's best. We all have different jobs. We all have different karmic sort of backgrounds. We all have different things that we can do in any situation. That's why Zen Master Sung-san used to say, you have to have a correct perception of the situation, correct situation, and then you have to have correct relationship, which means your relationship to the situation. What do you know how to do that in that situation you can do? So if someone is drowning, I don't swim very well. If I try to save them, then we'll both drown. My job is to find someone who can save them. But if you do have the skills to save them, then your job is to jump in. So to know what the situation is, to know what our function, what our job is in that situation, what our skills are, what our relationship is to the situation, and then our function to actually do it. That's what we should be paying attention to. So thank you.
Thank you, Zen Master Bonhei. Next one is for Haetong-snim. I have an all-consuming, very high-pressure job with a super demanding boss. I can't stop thinking about work even though I try, and even though I know I should stop thinking about my job when I leave work. Do the teachers have any advice on how I can do this? Practice more?
Come to Musangsa, work with me. I will show you what the real pressure is. Okay, a little bit joke, but that's exactly, it's the, we used to say in Korea, I used to have that kind of boss actually, no matter you believe or not. And we have a little joke in a Korean Buddhist community, but it's not just a joke. At the moment, you really face this, edge of your temper because of this huge temper, and you actually exploded. We used to say, you have just missed the chance to get enlightenment. So it's very, I think, important when you actually calls back the moment that you had this high pressure, just a little look into yourself. I'm not just at that moment, because it will be very difficult to see that at that moment. If you see yourself at that moment, you are already enlightened. I mean, you are kind of really a man of the path. But anyway, this, why does it happen? And the strengths that you have at that moment, why does it happen? It's very important to see, yourself. So then you do some practice, and then I think that will change that kind of temper. Anyway, don't miss the chance of enlightenment if you face again, just to come back to what is this about to be exploded. So hope to see you someday.
Thank you, Sadim. We still have a couple more minutes. So the next question is for Zen Master Bonsang. Why did Zen Master Sung-san once say, if we have been already helping all beings, that getting enlightenment is not necessary?
Because getting enlightenment and helping all beings is the same thing. Attain true nature, help this world. That's Buddhism, that's Zen. We make distinctions in our mind. Here I'm practicing at the Zen center. There I'm practicing at the store. The one common denominator is here I am. Every place is a Dharma hall. Every single moment is the moment to become awake. So I want to go back a step to something about the question that was asked to Zen Master Bunhei. When she was speaking, she reminded me of a story that Zen Master Sung-san told, and I want to tell it. I think it's important. One day at a ceremony at the Providence Zen Center, Zen Master Sung-san got up and he addressed the assembly. And he said, a student of mine said to me that, Zen Master, when you die, I will follow you. And Zen Master Sung-san turned to him and started laughing and said, oh, no, 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 no. When I die, you don't want to follow me, because when I die, I go straight to hell. I go straight to hell because that's where they need a Zen center. Good situation, bad situation is human thinking. Our life is giving it away. Our life is helping all beings wherever we are. If we live that way, we may not get what we think we want. But as Zen Master Sung-san would say, we get everything. This whole universe is me. What can possibly be left out? We suffer because we separate the world into me and everything else. When that separation breaks down, helping all beings is a natural process. So do your practice. Live your life with an open heart and a clear mind, and don't worry too much, just do it.
Thank you so much. Time is up. There are a lot more questions, but unfortunately, sorry, we can't answer them all. Thank you very much, all teachers, for your wonderful talks and insightful wisdom to all the questions. We're going to wrap it up here, and I believe I should be handing this over to the staff. But before we end, I believe we will be doing the 4 great vows. Is that correct? Okay, so let's do the 4 great vows. Sentient beings are
Sentient
numberless.
beings are numberless. We vow to save them all. Delusions are endless. We vow to cut through them all. The teachings are infinite. We vow to learn them all. The Buddha way is inconceivable. We vow to attain it.